In this video, I'll take you through a day of my life as an indie game developer with a full-time job. I'll be working on my open world game Robin Hood Shadow of Nottingham, which you can wishlist on Steam, but for now, let's get into this. I woke up earlier than usual and immediately thought this video was a bad idea. But after forcing myself out of bed, I did my morning prayer and got ready for a quick workout. I'm trying to get back into training now that they finished renovating the gym. I usually train to failure, which saves me a lot of time. After a few sets with the dumbbells and a treadmill warm-up, I went back upstairs and took some time before my day job to work on the game. So even after the workout, I'm still kind of sleepy from the morning, but I'm not going to have coffee until I get to work. For now, I have just under 20 minutes to do a little bit of work on the game, so that's what I'll be doing now. This game is quite a big undertaking, but I'm really happy to be working on something that I'm passionate about. It might not look like it at first, but this game is mainly inspired by Morrowind's exploration and Fallout New Vegas' quest design, and I'm really excited about how quickly I'm making progress. Currently the UI is all placeholder, but last week I managed to implement character creation, leveling up, and the inventory system. When you pick up items, it accounts for your carry weight, which actually changes depending on your strength. Items will stack, and you can even equip armor and weapons that will affect your armor rating and damage. But there was one big problem. There's a marker that shows you if an item is equipped or not, but it doesn't work. If you equip a second item, it just moves the marker to that item instead of creating a new marker for it. I assumed it would be a quick fix, but after about 15 minutes, I ran into another issue. Okay, so I got a good chunk of the thing done, but for some reason when I instantiate the equip marker, it just shows up as a big red X. I tried to figure out why that is, but I'm out of time. I have to get to work, so I will see you guys at lunch. After a good 4 hours at the API mines, it was time for lunch. Now normally this is the part of a day in the life where the developer makes like a healthy lunch. All I have is this thing of beef. I found that having some sort of meal prep, or in my case even just cooking in bulk all at once like this, can really free up your time throughout the week. With lunch ready, it was time to get back to the game. I'm going to try to fix that weird problem with the UI. If I can't figure it out, I'm just going to move on to the next thing so that we can get a bit more done this video. I generally know what the problem is, I'm just not 100% sure how easy it'll be to actually fix. Surprisingly, I enjoyed fixing the bug, because at work we were literally just testing a new API all morning, so I feel like I'm actually creating something rather than just observing and taking notes, which is basically what testing amounts to. Okay, it is officially working. So I'm just picking up some items here in the inventory. Look at this. Equipped. Bam. Shows up. Now, look at this. I'm going to equip something else. That's also equipped now. Very good. Even though I hadn't fixed the equip marker until now, it was great to finally get it done. I spent the last 10 minutes or so creating placeholder spear and great axe models, which we'll be making animations for later. I can't wait to be able to try different weapons in game, but for now, it was time to get back to work. When I got back, it was raining pretty hard, but I really wanted to go for a walk across the river. I went the other day and it was beautiful. I've been here for over a year and I hadn't been there until yesterday. The trail was pretty muddy, but it was definitely worth it for a change of scenery and just to get moving after a long day in front of a screen. After getting back inside and drying off, it was finally time to work on some animations. Currently, the player can only use a sword, and in fact, he must use the sword. To save time, I figured axes, maces, and daggers could all use the same animation set as swords, but spears and great axes would definitely need changes. So I created a basic thrust attack animation for the spear, which would serve as the basis for the other attack animations. But after an hour and only a few animations done, and still having to get groceries, I was beginning to get worried that I wouldn't have anything to show by the end of the day. But I did go get the food and ended up making a marginally more interesting supper, and to be honest, it was pretty good. So I relaxed for a bit, watching some chess videos and eating supper, and then got back to Blender to get those animations done. There were still a couple more to wrap up before the spear could actually be used in-game, so in the evening I worked on creating the blocking animation, the counterattack, and a few others. The spear was coming along really well. I don't know many RPGs that let you use spears besides Morrowind, but I couldn't not include a spear for a game set in a time period when spears were by far the most common battlefield weapon. For good reason.
One of the greatest and most effective weapons in all human history is indeed the pointed stick.
But before getting them to work in-game, I did have one other thing I wanted to do tonight. I had an idea for a story totally unrelated to the Robin Hood game, because I've been writing some stories for this world I've been working on for ages, and not too long ago I got some more inspiration for a new idea. I knew I had to at least get some thoughts down before wrapping up, so I spent some time on the couch just writing and brainstorming. I know this is a no-brainer, but you definitely need to have other edifying activities activities besides game dev that you genuinely enjoy. To be honest, it's sometimes easy to get a bit obsessed, and it's important to find the time for this sort of thing. If all you do is make your game with unwavering focus, then when burnout hits you, you'll no longer find joy in the one thing you devote your time to. With only a few minutes remaining before I had to go to bed, I wrapped up the evening loading the new spear animations into the game just to test it out, and it was awesome. The spear feels great to fight with, and it's nice to have this be a unique part of my game. Since filming this, I've actually gotten even more done. Spears and great axes are now fully implemented, and you can even use shields. You can grab the newest build of the game on my Patreon in the description, and I appreciate it immensely if you choose to try it out. After a good day of development, you really want to just keep going. Sometimes it really does happen, and at a certain point you do have to be like, hey, okay, put that aside, I gotta go do something else. It makes you more productive in the long run. And one of the things I've been thinking about was this idea of what separates people who do finish their game from those who don't. It's not a lot, actually. There may be factors limiting your time, I get that. But some people who have no business finishing a game, who have families to take care of, manage to do it, while others who have all the time in the world waste it. But the most important thing of all is not making your game, it's gaining virtue and first and foremost glorifying God. Trying to. If you made it to the end of this, thank you so much. I really mean it. It really means a lot to me. I put a lot of work into this. Please do wishlist Robin Hood Shadow of Nottingham on Steam. It helps immensely. I hope to see you in the next one, and until then, God bless.